The MCU isn't the powerhouse it once was. A few years ago, a new Captain America movie would have been a major event, dominating social media, sparking endless fan theories, and packing theaters on opening weekend. But Brave New World? There's barely any buzz. The press coverage has mostly focused on negative headlines, reshoots, behind-the-scenes troubles, and controversy over certain characters. Fans who once devoured every Marvel announcement now seem indifferent. It's not that people don't care about the MCU anymore, but the excitement isn't what it used to be. And yet, despite all that, Captain America Brave New World is surprisingly solid. It's not a game changer, it's not a masterpiece, but it's a return to the kind of superhero storytelling that made Marvel work in the first place. The story. Sam Wilson has been Captain America for a while now. He's got his own version of a sidekick, Joaquin Torres, who has taken up the Falcon mantle. Meanwhile, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is now the President of the United States, and Sam wants to work with him to build a better future. But things take a dark turn when Isaiah Bradley, the forgotten super soldier introduced in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is seemingly brainwashed and attempts to assassinate Ross. Sam knows Isaiah isn't in control of his actions, but the world doesn't care. As the situation escalates, Sam stumbles into a much larger conspiracy, one that could push the world to the brink of war. If that sounds like a political thriller, it's because the movie wants to be one. The problem? It never fully commits to the idea. The issues. Like most recent MCU projects, Brave New World carries some baggage. First, it leans heavily on past Marvel entries, specifically the Incredible Hulk, Eternals, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's an odd choice, because none of these are exactly fan favorites. The Incredible Hulk came out in 2008, long before Mark Ruffalo replaced Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. Eternals barely left a mark, and while the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a strong start, it lost momentum by the end. The result, a movie that expects you to remember a lot of Marvel history that most people probably forgot. Then there's the issue of reshoots. Some scenes feel rushed, with characters awkwardly standing in front of obvious green screens. There's also a subplot featuring Giancarlo Esposito that feels shoehorned in, almost like a studio-mandated edition to explain the plot more clearly. His role mostly consists of delivering exposition, and while Esposito is a great actor, he can only do so much with what he's given. The humor is another weak spot. Marvel movies have always relied on jokes to keep things light, but here, the comedy doesn't just land. You can feel the movie trying to inject levity, but the audience isn't laughing. And then there's the political aspect. The movie clearly wants to be a modern-day Winter Soldier, tackling political intrigue and global tension. But unlike that film, Brave New World avoids taking any real stance. It introduces the idea of the president as a potential antagonist but never fully explores it. If you're going to bring politics into a superhero movie, commit to it. Otherwise, it just feels like empty drama. Now the good stuff. So with all these flaws, why does Brave New World still work? Because, at its core, it gets the basics right. It's a simple, well-paced superhero story anchored by a likable lead. Anthony Mackie understands that Sam Wilson isn't Steve Rogers, and he doesn't try to be. He leans into what makes Sam unique. His resilience, his ability to inspire, and the fact that he earned the Captain America title without superpowers. Sam isn't the strongest fighter or the most powerful superhero, but he refuses to back down. That's what makes him compelling. Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross is another highlight. A lot of people assumed Ford would phone in his performance, treating this as a paycheck gig. But that's not the case. Ford brings depth to Ross, playing him as a man weighed down by his past mistakes, struggling to hold everything together. There's also an underlying tension in his scenes. He's a man sitting on a secret, and that's slowly unraveling. The movie's main villain, if you've seen The Incredible Hulk, you can probably guess who, is also one of the better MCU antagonists in recent years. His design is grotesque, his motivations make sense, and he actually feels like a genuine threat. But he doesn't get enough screen time. Unlike some recent Marvel villains, he's not just evil for the sake of it. He has a clear goal and a well thought out plan. The action. Where Brave New World truly shines is in its action sequences. The hand-to-hand combat feels like a return to the Winter Soldier. Brutal, fast, and intense. Unlike Steve Rogers, who relied on raw strength, Sam is more acrobatic, using speed and precision in his fights. This leads to some creative and excited combat moments. One standout scene features an aerial battle between Sam and Taurus against a group of enemies, set against the backdrop of the massive Celestial sticking out of the Indian Ocean. It almost feels like Marvel's version of Top Gun Maverick, and it's easily one of the film's best sequences. And then there's the big fight, Red Hulk vs Captain America. It's exactly the kind of brutal, high-stakes showdown fans have been waiting for. In a time when Marvel's action sequences have often felt weightless, this one actually delivers. It feels personal, intense, and genuinely impactful. So does Captain America Brave New World fix the MCU's problems? No, but it doesn't have to. It's a solid, well-made superhero movie that knows what it wants to be. The bigger question is, will audiences still care? For years, the MCU delivered movies that balance action, character, and heart. Brave New World comes close to recapturing that magic. The problem is, after years of mediocre releases, the excitement isn't just there anymore. Captain America Brave New World doesn't reinvent the superhero genre. It's not trying to. It's just a good old-fashioned Marvel movie. The real question is that enough in 2025? Captain America Brave New World is in theaters now. Thank you for watching. See you next time.